This is the Primetime News Midweek edition, coming to you from our Aerospark studios. Good evening to our global audience and much appreciated for tuning in. I'm Jaconia Nehemia. We commence tonight's bulletin in the presidency, which announced that President Dr. Hage Geingob has relieved Daniel Kashkola of his duties as Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security with immediate effect, replacing him with Lucia Vetboy. In a statement issued by the presidency, Geingob thanked Kashkola for his service and wished him well in his future endeavors. More details from this report.
In a statement issued by the presidency, Geingob thanked Kashkola for his service and wished him well in his future endeavors. In another personnel change, Geingob also appointed Natalia Hochoses as Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, saying that as an educationist by training, Hochoses is tasked with strengthening the work of government in the delivery of better services in the higher education sector, including the acceleration of national efforts towards the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Moreover, Evelyn Nawase-Style was appointed as Deputy Minister of Urban Regional Development, where she is expected to contribute towards an improved performance culture for better public service delivery in the ministry. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba.
Home Affairs Minister Dr. Albert Kawana noted the availability of illicit firearms among civilians on the African continent continues to contribute to the increase in armed violence, including gender-based violence. Kawana expressed these sentiments during the launch of the Amnesty Month of September 2023. More insights from this report.
Allow me, on behalf of the government, on behalf of the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, to commend our citizens, to commend those who voluntarily surrendered illegal arms to the state. And use this opportunity to continue encouraging those who are still in possession of illegal firearms, ammunition, and related materials to surrender them without any further delay. Because if they fail to do so by or before 30th of September this year, we are going now to beyond the offensive. In Namibia, we will deploy a number of our forces, uniformed forces, to make sure that we deal with those who are refusing to surrender their arms. The law will take its course. From 1st of October, we are going to undertake, and without mercy, without fear, without favor, action against those elements. So it's always good to make sure that those people, if they want to escape the rest of the law, it's their chance in this September month.
On to health matters. The Ministry of Health and Social Services pledged its commitment to ensuring equitable access to oral health countrywide. Minister of Health and Social Services, Deputy Minister Esther Mwinyangwi, made these remarks during the official launch of the Oral Health Awareness Week launch in Rundu on Tuesday. Sawi Hausiku filed this report.
Minister of Health and Social Services Deputy Minister Mwinyangwe said in the African region more than 480 million people suffer from oral diseases such as dental caries and tooth loss, despite most of the diseases being preventable. The Deputy Minister said since May this year, the Kavango East Regional Health Directorate has engaged in various initiatives geared towards ensuring that the community of the region has access to oral health services. She further informed the gathering that the Directorate has also been rendering outreach oral health services to orphanages and to correctional facilities in the region, namely the Divundu Correctional Facility and the Elizabeth Nepemba Facility. Mwinyangwe said in order to achieve universal coverage in oral health services, the ministry must focus on preventative measures, accessible dental care, integration of oral health, as well as education and empowerment.
On to some continental updates. Following the recent flooding in Libya, the devastated eastern city of Derna was counting its dead earlier today, with the toll from the floodwaters unleashed by Storm Daniel expected to rise even further. 2 dams burst in the city on Sunday afternoon after the storm hit, releasing a surge of water that tore through the city, sweeping away buildings and the people inside them. More from this report.
By late Tuesday, the preliminary death toll from authorities in the politically fractured North African country was at least 2,300 dead. Emergency services said more than 5,000 people were missing and about 7,000 were injured. The death toll is huge and might reach thousands, said Tamar Ramadan of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Media reports quoted a spokesman from the Interior Ministry of Libya's eastern government as saying more than 5,200 people had died in Derna. Derna was home to about 100,000 people, and many of its multi-story buildings on the banks of the riverbed collapsed, with people, their homes and cars vanishing in the raging waters. With global concern about the disaster spreading, several nations offered urgent aid and rescue teams to help the war-scarred country that has been overwhelmed by what one UN official called a calamity of epic proportions. Reporting for Primetime News, Diana Kauta.
Stay tuned for the business segment. Welcome to the Primetime Biz segment. Namibia-Sino relations kickstart the segment. Chinese ambassador to Namibia Zhao Weiping paid a courtesy visit to the Oshikoto region on Tuesday to create cooperation between the region and his host nation. Speaking at the Okashana Crop Research Station at Omuthia, Weiping elaborated on the purpose of his visit aimed at promoting fraternal relations with his embassy and the Oshikoto region, as well as promoting the existing working relationships between the respective institutions. More insights on this report.
Speaking at the Okashana Crop Research Station at Omuthia, Weiping said the purpose of the visit is to promote friendship between his embassy and the Oshikoto region and to further promote the existing working relationship between the two. The ambassador reported that the embassy has been working with some of the government ministries regarding the role of Chinese government can play in providing some of the facilitation. Oshikoto Governor Pendayanda Kolo, on his part, mentioned some of the challenges in the region as well as possible solutions. The governor expressed appreciation to the Chinese embassy for constructing a hospital and a primary school, which they want to name after the ambassador.
On to the Internet of Things. A public consultation on Namibia's national assessment of the Internet universality indicators commenced in the capital on Tuesday. Addressing the meeting, Executive Director in the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, Dr. Audrey Mate, noted Namibia is the first Southern African country to carry out a national assessment on Internet universality indicators, providing the country with an opportunity to voluntarily assess itself as a country in relation to its Internet policies and digital development.
Mate said this assessment will provide the nation with evidence of where they are precisely in the policy and development of the Internet, particularly considering the human rights aspects, openness and accessibility. It further evaluates the roles and governance of the multi-stakeholder, the intersection of gender, people with disabilities, youth, sustainable development, and other intersectional issues that ought to be paid attention to in the policies and practices of technology. Furthermore, by evaluating Namibia's Internet environment against the rights, openness, accessible multi-stakeholder indicators, Namibia is confident that this process will present a comprehensive and substantive understanding of the national Internet environment and policies. He added that the process will also assess Namibia's policies' alignment to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization of Rights, Openness, Accessible Multi-Stakeholder Indicators, Principles and their contribution to sustainable development, and develop policy recommendations and practical initiatives that will enable Namibia to improve its Internet ecosystem, particularly as frontier ICTs evolve. Reporting for Primetime News, Diana Gauta.
For tomorrow's countrywide weather forecast, let's shift our focus to the weather report. Sport Planet is your go-to segment for all sporting action. Football action dominates the segment. Cameroon secured qualification for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations tournament after a 3-0 home victory over Burundi on Tuesday. Second half goals from Brian Mbeumo, Christopher Wu and Vincent Abubakar sealed a comfortable win in their final Group C clash. Burundi's defeat effectively means the Brave Warriors qualify for the AFCON tournament. The tournament will commence in Ivory Coast in January next year. Staying with football. Now, Gareth Southgate has condemned the ridiculous treatment of England defender Harry Maguire, labeling the unrelenting criticism a joke. The Manchester United centre-back won his 59th cap as a substitute in England's 3-1 friendly win against Scotland in Glasgow on Tuesday, but his performance was marred by an own goal. England boss Southgate noted it's a joke. I have never known a player treated the way he is, not by the Scottish fans, by our own commentators, pundits, whatever it is. They have created something that's beyond anything I've ever seen. Stay tuned for a sports roundup. This is where we conclude tonight's